on out for football. Come on out for football. I said, yeah, I'll be out there. I said, myself, you ain't gonna break my legs up out there before I try to run around no football field. But I could, you know, I was very athletic, but I wouldn't go for the teams, you know. Maybe practice with them or something like that. But when I first went to high school with Professor Duval, and then I went in the service, I came back, it was Mr. Who was it? Mr. Edwards, I believe, was principal.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I believe that's right. And I graduated under him.
What year was that you graduated?
I graduated from high school in 1947.
47.
Because I was with the class of 45, and doing military service, that threw me out of my regular class.
Class of 47.
Yeah, in the class of 47. And I went to...
And Mr. Homer T. Edwards was the principal when you got back.
Yeah, when I got back, he was the principal. And I was pretty active in all of the organizations and president of some of them. And, you know, I was pretty busy and pretty active and took a lot of parts in a lot of
And
things.
once you completed college, high school, did you go straight to college?
Yes, I went straight to college. I didn't take no time out.
And you went to Morehouse?
Went to Morehouse, yeah.
Why Morehouse?
I went to Morehouse because the pastor of my church, Reverend C.J. Gresham, was a graduate of Morehouse College. And Ray Ware, you remember Ray Ware?
I heard of him.
Ray Ware was the head of the Good Samaritan insurance company for a long time before he left, went to California. He came in and took over after Wilbur Jones. Wilbur Jones bought Silas Green. It used to be a show, a traveling minstrel show.
Okay.
And they did it in a tent. And Wilbur Jones bought into that show, so he gave up the head of the insurance company.
Okay.
Ray Ware succeeded him. The company folded, I don't know why, but he left and went to California. He was a Morehouse graduate, incidentally, Ray Ware was.
He was, and Reverend Gresham.
Yeah, they were the two that encouraged me and recommended me to go to Morehouse.
What church was Reverend Gresham at? Your church?
Ebenezer Baptist Church up here on the corner. Okay.
So, tell me about Morehouse.
Well, Morehouse is, you asked the right question then. Morehouse is the greatest school there was. We always said it was the Harvard of the South.
Harvard of the South, okay.
Yeah, Harvard of the South. At the time I went to Morehouse, Dr. Benjamin E. Mays was the president.
He was there, all right.
He was the president of Morehouse when I went.
All right.
And I went in 47, because I graduated in 47. And he was president and outstanding. And I have some good teachers.
And you major in?
Business administration. Okay. Yeah. And psychology. I was minor in psychology, major in business administration. But I enjoyed being in Morehouse. I lived on the campus my freshman year because it was required to stay on the campus my first year. But I didn't live on the campus after that. Maybe the first and second year I was there. But after I got married while I was at
Morehouse.
Yeah. Okay. And my oldest daughter was born. So I had to try to cut some corners, with my veterans. I went on the GI Bill.
Okay, great.
I went to Morehouse on the GI Bill. I look at who is that? Talks about his father was in the military, and when he came out, he went to college on the, recently, I can't think of who he was, famous black fellow.
Really? On the GI Bill?
Went on the GI Bill, and he said his daddy was able to go to college, and when he got out of college, get a decent job so he could have a better life. And I think that sort of was the pattern of my life also. I went on the GI Bill, and I was able to put a good education. I worked, came out and taught school.
Okay. When you finished Morehouse, did you come back to Athens?
No, well, yeah.
To talk?
No, I didn't teach that in first year. My first year teaching was in Morgan County. I got a job in Morgan County. I was down there 1 year. Then there was a Morehouse man who was a principal of a school in
and you can tell a Morehouse man.
Always a Morehouse man. Principal up in Madison County. And I went up there and worked with him. He didn't have basketball. He had something up there, but I had to build basketball court and whatnot. And the first year I brought my team to Athens. First year I coached. And the boys were so shy. Somebody threw the ball to him, hit him in the head, and they beat us 100-1.
100-1.
100-1.
Wow.
All right, now, and I learned, I'm going to put this in a little later. I learned Comer and Carver always had good basketball teams. And they always held a tournament, great tournament. That was big time in Athens. At the gym here in Athens, you know, and all the surrounding teams would come in and play in the tournament. And that first year, I went in that, everybody was eligible to get in the tournament. First year, I brought my little team up there and beat us 100-1. Next year, when I come back, I beat Carver, I beat Comer. I taught my boys, I said, now let me tell you something. We're going to use the element of surprise. They're going to think they're going to do us like they did last year. We had scored 20 points before they made one. I mean, we were good. Now, that's how I brought that crowd from up there in that corner to that level. Maybe I should have been a coach, huh?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Well.
So you're there for a year?
Oh, I was up there 3 years.
3 years,
yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I was talking to one of my former students that played basketball, and I guess it might have been last year. I was so ignorant about the situation. He said, you know, Mr. Payne, when we were playing Comer and Carver, said we were playing grown men. Said them boys wasn't in school. I said, what? He said them guys came every year just to play basketball. And that's who we were up against. I was just so naive. I thought everybody basketball team was made up of students.
Right.
But these were professional guys. They work all the year, and then basketball season they get in school and play basketball. I said, God, that even magnifies our situation. Here you playing folk that just play basketball.
That's right.
And y'all competed greatly with them, you know. So I thought we did quite well there. Well, after that, I stayed up there 3 years. They were looking for somebody, a black person in Athens, to become manager of the black projects in Athens. So they chose me to do that. But the situation was such that I was never given the job I was hired for. The executive director of the Athens Housing Project was holding down all the jobs he could. He was manager, executive director, all these were good salaries he was drawing. He was allowed to do that. When he should have had a manager for each one of these projects.
Right.
Parkview and Broad Acres and Rock Spring Home should have had separate managers. But he did it all, and I think it went into his one big salary. And he kept telling me, said, when I go up in the mountain, I'm going to set up things the way you're supposed to be. Now, what he meant was he either die or you would retire. I don't know which one he's talking about. But I got tired of waiting on him to set it up. I was just bumming around, wasn't doing that. And I said, now I'm not learning a thing, because they won't give me the job I was hired for.
Were you there?
4 years, waiting on him to do what
Go to the mountains.
I said, I'm not learning anything, just drawing a salary. That's kind of dumb. So I went to Mr. Sam Wood, superintendent of school. I was working at part-time at the Athens Country Club. I was maitre d' out there. And he's a member of the club. Of course, his folks my grandparents worked for his wife's folks before I was born. So I was sort of in the family anyway. And I told him one day, he was out at the club, I said, I need to get a job. I need to talk to you about a job because the one I got, they're not opening it up like they're supposed to, and I'm not learning anything. He said, come by the office. So that was on Sunday, the buffet they had out there. And I went to the office that Monday morning. We sat down and chatted about 10, 15 minutes. He called the secretary and said, get Robert a contract. That's how I was hired. Okay. Now, I had been trying to get on, but certain folks had to claim they had the philosophy that they didn't hire local folk. So why you don't hire people who, you know, were born and raised in Athens? Well, their parents would work for certain white folks, and they would have some kind of problems, and first thing you know, what's going on in the school would get back to the superintendent through them, through talking to the folks. You see what the connection? But I was able to get the job because I was in contact with top folks. And I tried with the folks I was supposed to try. I was making it.
Didn't work out.
Didn't work out. Okay. I was still working for the house. I had a job. I was still working for the house.
And where did you start teaching at? What school? In Athens.
At college at West Broad.
West Broad.
West Broad.
That's when you came.
Went back to West Broad. Okay. I said that was sort of interesting. I went to school.
That's where you started.
And then I went back to teach, and I taught there for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah. And then I was...
What grade did you start teaching?
5th grade.
5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade.
What was it like as a teacher there?
I think those 10 years were the happiest years of my life, I believe. You know?
Okay.
I knew the kids knew me. They respected me. I was the first man to be in that elementary school. That was the time when...
Who was the principal?
Miss Freeman. I don't know where you... Miss Freeman was sister to Lawrence McQuarrie. Do you remember Miss McQuarrie?
Right, yeah. I know Miss McQuarrie.
That was her sister-in-law.
Okay.
Now, Miss McQuarrie was principal at East Athens. And Miss Freeman was the...
Okay.
She was a McQuarrie, but she married a Freeman. She was a McQuarrie. And that's how you got Lawrence McQuarrie's funeral home up there. Her brother was the one that was in the McQuarrie part of that. Okay. And I started down at West Broad, and I was down there for 10 years, and then they brought about this integration. All right, Mr. Wood.
Before we move on, who were some of the teachers that was there with you?
All right. Miss Jones, Miss Hawkins, Miss Brown, Dr. Bradford Brown's mother, was a first grade teacher. Miss Hawkins was around on Reese Street. I don't know if you know of the.
I heard of Hawkins.
Yeah, right across from the VFW up on that big house sitting out there. She and I worked together. Miss Brantley. Miss Brantley. And we go down this hall here where we were. Miss Jackson. There were some sisters Jacksons. All of them were teachers, and one of them was one of my co-workers down at the Broad. Miss Diggs, of course, taught me, and I went back to teach with her. Trying to think of Miss.
Okay. What were some of the activities that you were in charge of?
Most of the physical, most of the science, I did most of the science, because at that time, that was when they put Sputnik out there.
Okay.
The Russians put Sputnik into space. And then we went crazy about trying to get science in, and they sent all kinds of equipment, science desks, and everything you could think, science laboratories floating that you rolled on carts. You know, we had to catch up with the Russians when they put that Sputnik thing out. They weren't doing anything before then. Only thing that we did was what we did ourselves, you know, our own initiative. But after Sputnik shot out there, I believe it was Sputnik, wasn't that the first?
I believe it was.
Yes. When they put Sputnik out there, then we got busy. And so I was in charge of the science and the physical education. And my military training helped me with the physical education part of it. I taught them how to do things as far as the physical part of it is concerned. And then I did the science. But the science, the classrooms was pretty much self-contained.
Okay.
Each teacher did all of his things, you know, it wasn't departmentalized.
You have any idea about how many students were there in the school at that time?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It had to be in excess of 200, I'm sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to go above that.
Okay. We okay? You stopping?